Hey, there's that time of the month where if you follow us here at 5Market Realty, you know that we do two market updates a month. We do one that we focus on the Athens area and the counties around it, like Watkinsville, Oconee, Jackson area, Madison County, and their surrounding areas. And then later in the month, we do a more nationally focused market update where we look at trends that are happening across the country with mortgage rates and things like that. My name is Scott Talley. I'm the broker here at 5Market, and what we're trying to do is keep you informed on what's proving to be a pretty peculiar market right now. If you're interested in Athens area real estate, you want to be notified when we have a new video, you want to be notified on new listings, or really anything pertaining to real estate in our area, be sure to click subscribe. Other than that, we're going to go ahead and get started, and I want to break through some numbers to you to kind of explain what we're really seeing. This is the most peculiar market I've been in almost 20 years of doing this, and it's March. It's March for you. It's February 28th for me, about 5 o'clock. I'm here on Millage. Right now it's about 80 degrees. All the fraternities and sororities are out walking, playing music. I hope that this is going to record without you hearing it. My point in saying that is the numbers are going to change a little bit over the next few days, but press for time. It's best for me to go ahead and get this done today. And hopefully you'll be receiving or seeing this very early March. So we want to talk about understanding the peculiar market and how there's low activity in some price points. And then in other price points, we're seeing most of the activity take place. So if you know us here, we like to track it back, covering several things over the last 3 years. And that's going to be the total new listings, the days on market, the home sale, average home sale price, and the total amount of homes sold. We feel like those are the best metrics to tell us about our activity. We're looking now the first 2 months, January 1st to March 1st. If you look back in 2021, really hot market, still in pandemic, but the real estate market was hot with the printing of money and the low interest rates. 401 new listings back then, 281 sales. And even in 2022, that felt like things were really tight, we still had 329 new listings and 248 home sales. Now, if we come here and we look at this year, we're down significantly, 197 new listings for the year. The days on market is up from 38 to 58. And then right here, our average home sale price between Clark and Oconee is up a little over 6%. Going to dive into that a little bit because of what we're seeing and explain why those numbers are still showing an upward tick. And then also the total amount of homes sold is down almost 45%. That's where we're feeling the economic pain in our industry, is not that prices are falling off and something like that as much as we're just not seeing the transactions. We've had people get on the sidelines for one reason or another. And then we're also seeing a lot less come to market. We're going to dive into that a little later and show you. Now, we also look at the month of February specifically because I think it's important to compare a month of a year to previous years. For instance, March, April, May are always going to have more activity than, let's say, October, November, December. So comparing it to the same time last year really gives you insight too. 2021, we saw 195 new listings. 2020, 190 home sales that were still down, mind you. Home sales that were still down in 2021 because of lack of some inventory. 152 to 125. Let's take a look now, and I will go ahead and gulp as the numbers are not good. So this is over the month of February. We did see some more listings than we saw the month before, which is good, but only 100, which is down 47.4% from the previous year. Days on market is up 25% at 56 days. And then we've got this home sale price that shows an uptick of 12%, almost 13%. We're going to talk about that in a minute because I want to show you why those numbers are not a little bit more flat. And then the total homes sold currently at 71. Hey, it's 5 o'clock on Tuesday, February 28th for me. There'll probably be some home sale. Maybe that number will move to 80. Maybe it'll move to 82, but it's not going to represent a significant change. However, last month we were looking at the total home sales were down 60%. It's an improvement. We're only down 43% this month. So while that number is not good, it's better than it was. Housing market activity, month of February, last 3 years. Looking at the red represents what we got new listings. Gray are the sales. This right here is just what we're showing you and talking about is the transactions that are way down. We've got less listings coming to market. Granted, our absorption rate is changing, but if you just compare those, you can see how much further down we are. You know, we only have 71 home sales today, whereas we had over almost 150 2 years ago. That's literally less, about half, as we just went over on the previous one. Now let's take a look at pre-pandemic because I like to put that into it. You can see this is 2019, the red being new listings and gray being sold. Almost 470 new listings in 2019 to basically 180 new listings right here in 2023. It's just so significantly far below right now. That's one of the things to keep an eye on. There is, I have some people that talk about that some homes are sitting and that's what they see. And then there's parts of us that see things in the market where we're still having competing offers, especially at the price points. That is the most important thing I'm going to show you is what's going on at the price points right now. So you understand, depending on where you are in the market, what your position is. So first, let's talk about the active homes for sale. We saw this kind of get above 220 for a while, going August, September, October, November. Unfortunately, since December, we have seen it come down over the month of December and January. Now it's sort of flatlined. Right now, I'm calculating our absorption rate, which basically absorption rate means the amount of homes for sale versus the amount of homes selling. You do the math, 71 to 180, we're going to be right there about that, almost 40% number. We're going to start tracking that for you too. Monthly total home sales. Now, listen, you've seen this graph a lot. You can look back here. This is 2021 in the spring. Home sales well above 200. And then when we got back to the next spring, we really never quite got there in 2022. And really, we've been on a downward spiral since June of the amount of monthly home sales. There's just less transactions. Look at this little red arrow here. We actually saw our first uptick in a while. Now, is it still far below where we want it to be? Yes, that red arrow is far below that red line. But you can see what this green line's been doing, and it finally ticked up. Let's watch that and see if we can kind of get this green line maybe ticking towards that red line again above it and kind of get closer to healthier transactions. Now, we're going to look here at the average home sale price in Clark and Oconee County. You've seen this graph before. Gray represents the year you're in. Red is the previous year. So this is the monthly average home sale price. The reason we tracked this was you would usually see in each month that whatever the average home sale price was a year ago in Clark and Oconee, it would then be far up. Look here in March. This goes back to March 22. The previous year was just over 300. Then it was almost to 450. April, the previous year was 340, almost to 450 again. So very significant gains in the next year. However, we saw something change. If you remember going back to October, we started to notice that in October, that metric changed. The current year in October 2022 was not the same as 2021. And then it flattened again in November. We saw it come back in December, and then we saw it flatten again in January. But here we are in February, and the average home sale price in Clark and Oconee was almost 400, and the year before it was about 340. So are we going again to this metric of always being far above what the average home sale price is compared to the same month last year? Well, maybe not exactly. We're going to dive into that. So what we're looking at here is just Clark County. Now we removed Oconee. We're only looking at Clark because there's more transactions. The average home sale price, red is the prior year, gray is the next year. So basically here we are in February, and this is all back to last March. I'm going to go ahead and add this into the slide so you can understand. So right here in the red box, this red box is circling an area of time before interest rates, before we saw the hikes. You'll notice that this gray that is the next year is far above 330, above 350, above 350, above 350. At this point, it goes above 390, and up here it goes above 400. And then right here in September, what else did we start to see happen? Those interest rates started to press up harder and faster. And then look at the big fall off. This is just for Clark County. And then look where we are now and how it's so much less. And then the answer to the question is why? Well, the why is there's less sales above $400,000. So what's going on this graph that's showing you, it's not that the value of a $700,000 home is falling off. It's that what's transacting is not as many above that we saw before. We saw a lot of higher end properties that were moving. We're seeing less of those, and I'm going to delve into that a little bit more. So right here, this is Athens Clark home prices year to date. I did one of these on the last one. We're breaking out over 1 million, 700,000, 500, 700, 350 to 500, and below 350K. And the thing that should stand out to you is right here in this red. It says 67% of sales were below $350,000. So that's where the market is right now. If you're a real estate broker, a real estate mortgage person, you know this. But if you're in the market around 350, that's why you're seeing competition. If you're in the market above 500 in Clark County or maybe 700, there could be some things sitting while some things are going on. There's only been 2 home sales over $1 million so far in 2023 that happened in Clark County, and only one over the last little bit of time that was in a gap of 700 to $1 million. So the sweet spot of transactions right now is actually below 350 and then 350 to 500. So if you're below $500,000, you're seeing competition possibly. You get above 500, we're not seeing as much. Now, the other thing is there's just not a lot of general home sales. For instance, there were only 71 that I mentioned. So when you have 2 sales over 1 million, be it 1.2 or something like that, that one sale can make the numbers. If we go back to the last graph, remember these right here that it's still looking like it's significantly up? Well, the reason is because if there's fewer transactions, maybe 71 units isn't a big enough span. And of course, what we're going there is just Clark County, so it's even less. So when you're looking at, let's call it 40 some odd units, and then 2 are over 1 million, everything else is below 350. Well, it's going to drag that number up. So that's really, we're not even getting enough units sold right now to truly affect some of these numbers. That's why understanding where the transactions are so important for you if you're in the market. If you're below 350, you're in a competitive market. Depending on what it is, above 750, might not be nearly as competitive. We're going to end the slide looking at Oconee County and how different this market has become. Because if you look here, there's been only 39 total homes sold in Oconee as of about 5 o'clock in Classic MLS. Hey, that could change. You know, they could get 10 more. I don't know that we will. We will see more in March. But if you look here, it's about the same thing. If we get below 350, 31% and then 26% equating for below $500,000 is where half the market is transacting. Now, we do have some other sales over here going on at 700 to a million, 500 to 700K that do equate for a big part of the pie. But the reality is there's only 39 sales. So when you're getting that much of it, the story of the market is where is your price point, and depending on where you're trying to buy or what you're trying to sell, it's going to dictate what kind of market you're in. It's not across the board anymore. This is different. We're going to be different than we were before. We don't have the supply. So certain more affordable price points are going to be competitive, whereas the higher price points might hold their value. They might see less competition. We do see those units sell. There's just less of them. As we always like to end, I end with a slide of our team here at 5Market Realty. Be sure to click subscribe. Info at 5M Realty. Thank you for staying with us for 11 minutes. Spring is almost here. Hopefully we will see better news in the real estate market with regard to transactions and interest rates as we head into a little later this year. Remember to click subscribe. Info at 5M Realty. Have a great March.